There are three types of visual balance. One is called asymmetrical, one is called symmetrical, and one is called radial. Let's look at some examples and talk about what the differences are. Asymmetrical balance means it is unequal from one side of the image to another. So if we divide this in half down the middle, we can see that this half over here is different than this half over here, so that is asymmetrical. Another example here, again, divide this in half. This side over here has these buildings, this side doesn't, so it is asymmetrical. Same with this. This half of the picture is different from this half, so it's asymmetrical balance. Last example here is this crab. He's got a little tiny claw on this side and a big claw on this side. It's unequal from one side to the other, asymmetrical. Radial balance is anything that has a central point, like this, central point, and everything is balanced around that. A flower is another good example. Most flowers have a central point and the petals go out from the center. So that is radial balance. Another flower example there. All right, so like a bicycle wheel, the axle goes through the center, kind of going through this way. And even though we're not looking straight at that central point, we know that these gears and the spokes in the wheel of this bike all go around that axle. So that's an example of radial balance as well. Even this one, I don't even know what this is, but there's nothing in the middle, but it is still a central area in the design with the rest of the design going out from the center. Again, anything with a central point and things in the design that radiate from the center, they come out from the center or go around the center. It's called radial balance. One more example there. Symmetrical balance. If we divide this picture down the middle, it's the same on this side as it is on this side. Left to right, it is equal. One more good example of symmetrical balance is the human body. Generally speaking, if you divide a human body in half from top to bottom, it's the same on both sides. So that is balance. For your project on the principles of art, you can only use radial or symmetrical balance for that page. For pattern, there are two types of pattern. One is called regular and one is called irregular. If we look at this example, each stem has a leaf on both sides. They correspond to each other, left to right, left to right. This would be considered a regular pattern in terms of the leaves being predictable. We know that if there's a leaf here, there's going to be a leaf on the other side of the stem as well. This pattern of the stack of wood is an irregular pattern. Although all the shapes of the wood are similar, they're all different sizes, they're different angles. If we were to continue the picture off to the side, any side, we would not know for sure if a big piece of wood is going to be next, if a small piece of wood is going to be next, which angle is it going to be stacked at. We wouldn't know that for sure. It's just random. So this is an irregular pattern. There's a lot of patterns in nature, especially on animals. Some animals have patterns. This would also be an irregular pattern because there's no two stripes that are the same. And again, the next stripe over here that we can't see, we don't know if it's going to be a big or a skinny or if it's going to split into two, kind of like this one does here. So it's irregular. This pattern has repetition that is predictable, and it is a regular pattern. The key word here is repetition on all of these examples. There are things that are repeating, whether shapes, stripes, lines, textures, colors, repetition. This image repeats in a predictable manner, so this is a regular pattern, as does this one. We know if we continue this pattern out to the side here, we know what it should look like. It's a predictable, planned pattern, so it is a regular pattern.